Hello, my name is Marcelo Varanda and welcome to my Blender tutorial about shape keys. I'll be assuming that you are familiar with mesh editing, so I will not be covering details about the basics for editing. And this will be like an introduction about relative shape keys. As a bonus at the end, I will try to create a very small animation. However, it is not the intention of this tutorial to cover animation. Let me give you some real examples where I have used shape keys in my animations. So I have a small video here where I did some special effects. So, so this of course is not just shape keys, but lots of compositing using real shot with shape keys. But the shape keys was basically used to deform the head and also give the animation about the eyes and also the smile. And here is another project I did with my daughter. So all face expressions were done using shape keys. I think, um, yeah, so let me advance a little bit more. I think here we can see more expressions and etc. So anyways, the bottom line is shape keys is widely used for animation, and even if you are using drivers and handles, shape keys will be on the bottom and it will be controlled by other components. So this introduction I will covering relative shape keys, and if you want further details, Blender manual, if you go to blender.org and the education and wiki user manual, I think shape keys you can find under animation, animation techniques, and there you go, shape keys examples, shape keys. Anyways, so let's actually get started with the Blender itself. So let me make this guy bigger, or not by that. I think Alt F11, so now it's in full screen mode. And I have my KeyCast enabled. And this is the very initial screen where with the cube. I think you are very familiar with this one. Alright, shape keys. Shape keys applies to a mesh. And in this case, I'll be selecting this cube. Let's do some shape keys using this cube. And then we can migrate to something more fancy, some more complex. Alright, so the shape keys is stored in the database for the object. So this is the icon for the data for the particular object, and we'll be applying to this selected object. And shape keys are stored in this UI component here. So we usually start shape keys by pressing this plus button, and this basics is actually, I think it creates a database showing the position for all vertices, and we usually don't touch this because I think every new keys that we add will be referring to the basis. So I will be creating a new one. Let's rename this key to, let's say, top left. So let's call top.l, and let's change the cube for edit mode. All vertices are selected. I will press A to deselect all, and I will be interested in modifying the position of those two vertices here. Okay, so what I would like to do is shape keys actually move the vertices position, so you can use the keyframes to to change using the slide button here, as I will show you next. So let's say in the 0 position, the vertices will be stay actually where the basis was set, right? So when this will be 100%, when the value of the shape key will be 100%, here is represented by the value of 1. It never exceeds 1. I'd like those vertices to be, let's say, here. Okay? So it's that simple. If I exit the edit mode, and you can see that now this shape key, 0 is the initial shape, and when I extend to 100%, it goes to the position we set while we're editing the shape key. That is that simple. Okay, there's nothing more complicated than that. And with these basics, you can do whatever. What you saw on those videos, mostly the facial expressions were just by using this technique. Okay, what else we can do? Let me give you some more tips on how to use this. So let's say, just for the fun, let's say we want to apply the same keys to the left side. Let's say you have a very complex mesh, and you don't want to, when you do something on one side, you know, to do the other side manually. So one tip that I can give you is the following. And tip number 1, every time you create a new key, make sure all keys, existing keys, are set to 0. Otherwise you can screw up your mesh or your new key. Okay. And number 2, let's say you want to apply the same symmetrical, how can I say, emotion or vertices position symmetrically applied to the right side. And what I'm talking about right and left, it's inverted, okay? So usually we have a model here, and we always apply right and left to the model itself, not the view. Okay, so if the model was facing me, this would be the right side, and despite it's in my left, in our left view, okay? But just to clarify a potential confusion. Anyway, so going back to the how to create a symmetric shape key. So let's say I create another key, and this key let's call top.r, right side. Actually, my bad. What I had to do first is to go to the original key we want to apply the symmetry. Okay, set to 100%, and then come here to this pointing down arrow, click over it, and say new shape key from mix. Alright, now we have a new shape key, which is essentially a copy. Let's just rename this shape key to top.r, and this shape key is just a copy. Let me put this down, and the new one that we just created is just a copy. Alright, however, if I come here and say a mirror shape key, you see that now I have applied to the left side. This is a huge benefit when you have a complex mesh, okay? And this mechanism of copying can be very handy as well. So let's say let's say you apply this for eyes, okay? And sometimes you want to open both eyes. So let's say left side and right side. Okay, one way to create a new key applying both at the same time would be is essentially the same technique. So let me put the left side to 100%, I mean 1, and left side to 100%. Okay, now let's again create another shape key using new shape from mix. So now this new one, let's call top both. This new key, as you may expect, let's bring back those one first. Otherwise it will be messy because one shape key is applied over the other one. So that's something that you have to take care. I'll show you what I mean. So if now we go to the top, the top both we just created, and if you start increasing this, you will ended up with the shapes of the both combined. Let me clear that each one is individual. Okay, you may apply both together. Let's say I put this 100%. Now I start having something messy here because it's going beyond what you may expect, right? So, but what I'm trying to tell you, even if you delete those two ones, they don't have a real relationship, okay? So this really copy, and it is not just a reference for the previous ones. It's a completely copy of the vertices position. All right. So this is the basics, and of course you can kind of animate this. You can create like a keyframes for this. Let's say in Blender, virtually everything is you can key for animation, and you just come put the cursor over. Let's say we are in 0, and just hover the cursor over the value, one a key, and press I. So the change to this yellowish color means that there was a keyframe. And let's say after 1 second, 30 frames, you wanna want this guy to be 100%. Okay, so you just hover the cursor over and press I, and then again, you can see that if I try to run to play the presentation, the keys are the shape keys are following the animation. Let's say after 3 seconds I want to start slowing down, so let's key again this, and let's say after 30 seconds I will go back to my 0 position, I. So there you go, we have animation now. Let's say I wanna go from 1 to 150. 150. Again, this is not a tutorial about animation, just to give you a very, very, very initial introduction. So, and you can see that this is being animated. Now I'm playing the animation, and so that's the very, very easy way to animate something. Alright, so I think we can stop this and go to a more elaborated usage of the shape key. I have that mesh that I use for that special effects. The Mr. Clean in my daughter's video, and the Sandman, they both came from, let's see where I placed that. Oh, by maybe here, workspace, tutorials, shape keys. There you go, this one. So here is the Mr. Clean, the character I created to my daughter, and then she did some animation and a couple other things. Well, the video is published on in my YouTube tutorial. But anyways, so this mesh I clean up. There is 0 shape keys, and I just want to show you how you can apply this for a more complex mesh. So let's create shape keys, let's say for controlling the eye, the eyes, open and close the eyes. Okay, the default is this. So let's create our basic, oops, wrong one. Shape key is our basic shape key, and let's create the first one. Let's say let's rename the shape key to I close dot L left side. Okay, so let's change this mesh to edit mode, and let's close the eye. Change this guy to 100%. It's exactly the same thing we did before, and it doesn't matter if we have a more complex mesh. So let's now select select the want to close the eye. All right, very easy way to do this. Of course, if we were doing elaborate work, you do something better than I'm doing. But what I'm going to do is to select this loop, shift out this loop, and shift out this loop here. Okay, and I will just press S and Z, or Z if you're in US, Z if you're in Canada. I'm Canadian though, Brazilian Canadian. So you hear probably Z a lot. And then I will be closing the eye. Of course, it's not that nice, but oh, there you go. And let me create. I may need to tune those vertices. I will create a group for these vertices that's already selected. Either way, I may or may not, but let's say I lead dot left, and of course assign. So if I want to select those vertices, all I have to do is to select this group and select. And now let's bring this loop here, A to the select all, and Alt this, and let's size S, Z, let's bring a little bit here, and let's say bring it a little bit further. I think it's fine. I think those vertices we can bring back a little bit, and let's select A to the select all. Let's select the eyelid once again and bring forward, otherwise the eye globe will be going through. So let's see if it looks like it's closed the eye. Yeah, pretty much. Of course you can do a better job adjusting, you know. I'm just doing a quick tip how to do this. And anyways, you can notice that I don't have X mirror topology on, and there's and another thing, my mesh is pretty much symmetrical. Sometimes if you move one or two or more vertices around in one side and forget, you may have problems sometimes applying symmetry. But anyways, so let's go to the leave the edit mode, and then we can see that the eye blinks. How come? All right, it's that simple. And let's apply exactly the same idea we had before, and hopefully it's going to work. So again, let's set this guy to 1. Let's apply to the left side, right side now. Okay, set this guy to 1, and here we say new shape from mix. Let's rename this guy to I close right. Let's come back here and turn this to 0. This will be pretty much a copy, and let's try to apply this to the left side. All right, so how we did, we came here and you said add mirror shape key. All right, we have some uh, vertices. Well, it's gone, but notice that in my case I had some vertices that were not uh, didn't work, but I don't think it's related with those vertices because we had more than 1000. So let's see if now works. Yes, it's working. And I think with Sux, we every time you want to blink both eyes at the same time to be, managing two separate keys while we're animating. So we can create one as before, applying to both. So let's do this right now. So let's set this guy to 1, to the maximum. Let's go to the left side, also set to the maximum. And let's use the same idea. So let's create a new shape from mix. And let's rename this to both. Actually, let's rename to eyes, plural, close. There you go. We can come here and bring down both. And now we can come here and, as you expect, we can make our Mr. Clean to blink. And of course, you can do more things. Let's say I want to make Mr. Clean to smile, all right? So now I think it's a good idea to make only one single shape key, and for that I will be edit mode. Just select the key here basis, otherwise in edit mode you may see this full set when you select individually, so I always bring back to basis here. Anyways, I want to make it smile, not very complicated smile, but for that I think it's a good idea to turn on the X mirror, so when we move something in one side it's applied to the other side. And a very simple smile could be done by you turn on the proportional editing, enable, and let's just take this vertex here and okay, let's make Mr. Clean a little happier. Let's create a new shape key. Oops. To create shape key, you have to exit the edit mode, okay? So I exit edit mode, and now I'll be creating a new shape key. Let's call this smile. Mr. Clean smile. Go back to edit mode, and then let's grab YG is not working now. Great. All right, G, and let's bring a little bit here. Too much. Just the affect this area. There you go. Again, grab and let's rotate a little bit this way, and of course this is a very poor anyways, when we smile sometimes the eye goes a little bit, so let's bring the eye just a little bit backwards and upwards. There you go. Let's see how it looks like. Yeah, looks like a happy face now, not so serious, and this is 100%. Okay, so let's go to object mode and see Mr. Clean with a better smile. Yeah, So let's go normal, smile, normal, smile. And that's it. There is no much to tell about this. And as again, you can animate it. Let's do a very quick animation. So I prefer to do an animation using the dope sheet. So let's create another window here. Oops, not that much. Only one window. Let's increase the size of this window, and I have two windows here. Not really. What's going on here? I have one or two windows. Oh, one window. Okay. And let's change this window to dope sheet, right? I have already some keyframes here. You just delete. X, delete keyframes. All right, so let's go to the frame 1. And let's say I only will be using smile, and let's say left. Okay, let's key left. I'm selecting I, close left. Hover the cursor over value, press I. And let's also key both. Hover the cursor over value I. Same thing for smile. Actually, you know what? It's not very natural. This is too wide. Open the eye. Let's reduce the both a little bit. This is more natural. Yeah. And let's key again I to override the last one. And smile, let's hover the cursor over and I again. So this is our initial shape. Okay. And after a while, let me zoom this here out and bring here, and then you can see usually it will be between 24 or 30 frames per second. So here will be 1 second. After 1 second we are playing. Let's say Mr. Clean will blink, right? All right. So let's say here we want this value. So for both eyes, let's hover over here and I again. So from 1 to 30 will stay in the same shape. And let's say the blink will last 6 or 7 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So about the frame 37, the eye will be completely closed, the eyes. So let's hover the cursor over eye. And after 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, on frame 44, we want to open again about 0.3 as before. Actually, you know what? Because you want not be exactly in the same openness of this guy, you can select this keyframe, only this, and say copy. And we go to the 44 and paste here using this key here, this button. So now, and then after, let's say a couple seconds, we can repeat this a couple times. So let's see how it goes. Let me play. Let's see if I'm happy with the speed of the blink. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's okay. If you want to increase or decrease, you can just increase the space. Like, you are free to press G and change the space between, or press or select all those three using shift click and press S to scale. Oops, too much. Too sensitive. But in our case, we are happy with, right? So because I have those three selected, I will press this button here to copy. And let's say here he will be blinking again. So paste here. Okay, and so on here. So now he's blinking a lot. Let's see. Okay, blink here, and then a little bit more later, blink again, and so on. Okay, good enough. Let's say here he starts smile. Okay, so let's go to the smile, and let's hover the cursor over here, eye. We can increase here, and then you can see individually here who is who. So here he started smiling, and his smile is completely done when he's about, let's say here. I think it would be half second. Let's say, yeah, 115 exactly half second. If you're talking about 30 frames per second. Okay, he will be widening his smile in half second, right? So here he's be 100% smiling. Hover, cursor, eye, there you go. And then let's say here he will blink one eye only. So let's say left eye. Oh, not here. Here, eye, and he'll be closing completely the eye, left eye here, and open again the left eye here. There you go. I think we are pretty much done. So let's say our animation goes until let's don't care about this. Let's finish our animation 220. 220. 220. There you go. And let's go back and play. And Mr. Clean is alive now. So that's what we had for you today, and I hope you appreciate and enjoy it. Okay? Until our next tutorial. Thanks again.